Yo, what's up? This the Edge and this Create Life podcast. Today I got my boy Takeo Spikes with me. You know, on Create Life podcast, we like to focus on mindset, self-mastery, financial freedom, community networking, and lifestyle leisure. And being that you played in the league 15 years, you fit every one of those categories.
Yes, yes.
And for me, I like to try to always give people insight to actually understand what it's like or things they might be going through or anything that can help anybody in all wakes of life to like better themselves. Like I try to keep everything on the positive. There's a lot of stuff you can do for clickbait
Yeah.
and try to get this right here. Mine is just more pure, more real because I feel we lack that a lot. You know, I feel we keep pushing everybody into the same old trap of laugh, joke, giggle, pick at everybody versus, man, how do you get a chance to see it on the other side? And we play ball. We got a chance to get that advance. They got a chance to see things that other people don't get a chance to see.
Yep.
So for me, man, I appreciate you coming on. Got my boy Spikes.
We in the building, dog.
15 years, man.
Well, I did a goddamn whole big, boy.
Man, you know what? Know what's amazing to me? 15 years, no playoff game.
Hey, it still amazes me today.
Like how I don't think people understand how hard it is and the timing of everything. Because you'll take it for granted. You got some people that have won Super Bowl rings. Like, look at Tom Brady have won so many Super Bowl rings. And you got so many people that play playoff games and if you take like a Robert Ory, they got all these champions. They played in those games, but then you got some people like yourself that's been around and it just never fell in the right situation. Like, what's the mindset of Takeo Spikes? I done played this game so long, and I haven't got to the postseason.
Bruh, it was like, you know, as a professional, it sounds so cliche. Of course, it's part of your job. But for me, though, what was big was like, man, I played this game because I wanted to be legendary. And that was my motivation. And I wasn't gonna just take, okay, 9-7 this year, maybe next year we'll get it, or 8-8, or even my earlier years going to Cincinnati, and we struggled mightily. And bro, I'm telling you, Doc, like I think a lot of it just had to do with my makeup, like who I am as a person. A lot of it too, just that comes from, just watching my parents and understand, like, every day when you come back home, either you got the job done or you didn't. And that's kind of like how we looked at it. It was black and white.
Right.
And so for me, I just saw they always grind. And that's what kept me going, bro, because 15 years, when I truly tell you I did a bid, bro.
You definitely did a bid, man.
15, and I remember having seasons, dog, going 2-14. Well, one season going 2-14.
Man,
and then another one 6-10. You know what I mean? Like,
hey.
and boy, listen, man. And so people don't, and that's the thing. When I was talking to somebody one time, and they were like, "Bro, for real?" And I was like, "Yeah." They was like, "Despite it all, you still have a household name," and that's the thing. That's kind of like how I kept going. I remember playing against the Steelers. We always played y'all in the preseason, but playing against the Steelers, training in the offseason, I remember me, Hines Ward, Jamal Lewis, and we always crack on each other. But Hines Ward was like, hey, Spikes, we ain't worrying about y'all. I was always the butt of the joke. Y'all ain't gonna do that. Y'all gonna lose. But then
That's
he
tough,
finished
man.
it off by saying, I ain't gonna lie though, we always had to circle where you are and where you was coming from because we knew you was gonna be the problem. And that was enough for me to keep my gas going, bro.
That's
Because
tough, though.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at it.
Man, I can't relate because, like, for me, you get frustrated you know, I'm a winner, man. Like, and my mind says I'm a winner. Then you get surrounded by people, you get put in situations, and it does something to you.
Yeah.
It's like when I went to Arizona, man, we went 5-11. Man, that was like
Worst time of your
that
life.
was the first time in my life, like just really just every week not having nothing to look forward to, and it just kills you. It just kills your thrill. Like I found myself not working out as hard. Started going to the club during the season. Like I never did none of that during the season, but it just puts you in a mindset of like, man, what am I doing? This not me.
Just felt miserable, huh?
Just so miserable every day. And when I see somebody like you like, I don't care what or when or what the situation is, man, you always motivated. You're always like upbeat. And I'm like, it takes a certain type of person because I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. As you start self-evaluating.
Yep.
You start looking at the situation, and I never point the finger. I always try to come to self. Like, what can I do? What can I do? And those are things that kind of get me through the day because I'm like, maybe it's not his fault. I need to figure out what I can do better. But to not experience the playoffs, and is the football season. I only like watching playoffs now because the feeling of the playoffs is like none other. And to know that you went 15 years, man, I take my hat off to you for every week, getting up, every off-season training. Man.
How do you keep the faith though, bro? Like, that was my thing. Like, somebody asked me, like, how you kept going? This was one of the times to where I heard this saying, and I did not understand it the first time I heard it, but as I got through my earlier years in the league, somebody made this statement: sometimes hope is stronger than love. And I always live off of that hope. That hope of just knowing.
I hope I make it to the playoffs.
I hope I make it. Or like it can't be shitty forever.
Man, it's like, I don't know. I really can't relate. But throughout your 15 years, like you got a chance to experience a lot. Yeah. And you got a chance to see a lot, play with a lot of great players. When you walked in those rooms and you was around those players that you deemed as great or successful, like how did you define success?
I define success from consistency. I think that's one of the hardest things for anybody to do is just be consistent, at an efficient level. And, I think about certain guys I played with. I think about Corey Dillon. I think about Willie Anderson. Think about Ocho, TJ Husmanzada. That consistency all came from a mindset. You know what I mean? Like, right. It ain't no different than what your slogan is. Create the life.
Create the life.
Like that, like it's a mindset, bro. So for me, like that's what really kind of kept me focused, because I saw other people who were very good at what they do, but they really didn't get the credit due to either you're winning or you're losing.
It's a bottom line world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what's your philosophy on failure and setbacks?
With failure, my belief is with failure, that's when the biggest time of learning comes, right after that. Because you learn not what to do.
Right.
And once you kind of understand the concept of failing and you learn not what to do, now I look at it next year whenever I start, these are the things that I cannot afford to do. You find an employee, you find anybody in leadership, one thing that they don't do is make the same mistake twice. And so for me, that's what I took, and I would take it and then try to spread that on to other people. The other side is, what was the other?
Setbacks.
So setbacks. Setbacks is the opportunity for the greatest comeback. And I just thought anytime you have a setback, it's just gonna make that story that much better when you finish or when you reach your goal. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like, I saw it that way. It was
So-
like, it was that Mamba mentality, bro.
Now you had to have it, man, for you to be every week getting up, getting into it, because there's so many perks into when you win. You know, everybody loves winners. Everybody loves to be around winning team, winning cultures. And for yourself, despite not having team success, you had individual success.
Yep.
You know, what advice would you give to young athletes who want to be great?
My advice to the younger athlete, never let someone else's opinion become your reality. You create the life that you want to live.
Create the life.
See, it keeps coming back, bro.
It keeps coming. But that's what it's about. You know, creating life, man. It's like, so for myself and other people, I always get asked, why create the life? You know, everything I had to create it. You know, I didn't have, I'm the first one to do this. I'm the first one to do that. Financially, I'm the first one.
Right.
But it all had to be created. It's a lot of people that actually help you along the journey, and you got to know when to get on the train and when to get off. And a lot of people get on certain trains and they never get off.
No.
Like, I know when something not right, I'm going to holler at y'all and I'm going to move over here to the next thing. And for me, that's what creative life is all about. You know, it's about you defining things that are important to you, you doing what it takes to make sure nobody else interferes or stop you from getting what you want. Like, I do what I want. I try to make sure I stay out of everybody's way, but I'm having a good time every day. I'm creating the life I want to live. And it's not something that everybody can't do. Everybody can create the life they live. Everybody can create the life they want to live, but you have to have that mindset. And within that mindset, you know, you got to have discipline, and you got to be locked in and say, I don't care what everybody else doing. I'm doing what's best for me.
That's it, bro.
Every day, every day I wake up, I see that sign, I see that logo. It's just like motivation. You know, it motivates me.
So you got create the life. As soon as you wake up in the morning, that's what
everywhere. That's why when you come around, you're gonna sit, because it's a reminder. Sometimes you get off track. Sometimes,
and that's the reality of it.
Yeah, that's the reality of life. You know, it's like you think about, sometimes people see a quote. A quote can make your day go up or down. And for me, I try to make sure I stay on the right path. Like, these are the things that keep me going. You know, I look at my kids, they keep me going. When I look at opportunities, when I look at people that had and don't have, and I sit back and say, I don't want to be that. And you just constantly keep going. And you keep saying, okay, these are things I'm going to do. Because every day you need some type of motivation, you know. And for yourself, it's like, what keeps you going right now?
I was reminded at a young age, bro, like, the question was asked of me, what do you have to do to wake up every day and to become average? I thought about it and I was like, nothing really. And that was the right answer.
What do you have to do to wake up every day and become average?
And that's nothing. And that nothing looks like, in modern day today, it looks like scrolling on the phone, always on social media.
Everybody.
Always talking on the phone.
Everybody.
And you don't pay attention to the details of what really matters.
Right.
And put that consistency in. So, you know, for me.
But with that being said, because I'm gonna be on my phone all the time, I'm gonna be in the loop all the time. How do you detach from doing what everybody else doing and staying laser focused on what you trying to do, or things that separate you from the group?
Man, this is probably the biggest free game that I can give. You ain't never got to stop doing what everybody else is doing. Like, you still can do that. But the key is you can't do it as much as they do. Why? Because you won't be in the same fucking place where they are.
Yep.
after a 3-month time period, after the first quarter of the year, second quarter. So it's all about creating that discipline to know, look, ain't nobody taking nothing away from you. Because at the end of the day, if you really want to live the way that you want, you got to create that life. How do you do that? Versus other people spending the average amount of time on social media a day, maybe 6 hours. You know what? I'm going to cut it in half and just see what happens. 3 hours.
Right. So
And
you
I
don't
guarantee,
miss nothing.
Yeah, 3 hours. And then the other 3 hours you dedicate to your craft.
Right.
And so if you develop a consistent schedule like that, you ain't gonna have, like, you gonna win. You gonna win. I could truly say that, bro, because like that's how I kept going. Like I had to focus on myself. And that was the first time also at a young age. You can't bring everybody with you. And as much as I want to be able to bring the team on my back, you know, like some players can, you know, but I was in a dysfunctional state from an organization wise.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like for me, like it ain't hard. We make it harder, but it's all about what you want from a lifestyle.
But you have some people realistically and some people unrealistically, you know, they think social media can benefit them, so they may have that as their reason why, you know, and I understand both sides, but I think it's just the more of the people that's unrealistic about what it's doing for you and doing to you. Is like, how can you use social media to your advantage? If you're hooked on it, I think you should make something from it. But if you had to give somebody advice on how do you use social media to your advantage?
I use social media it's a platform. It's my platform. That's what makes it so special. It's your platform. Oftentimes before social media came out, you had to go out and break bread and find advertisers or somebody to advertise what you're doing while you on somebody else's platform. Now, as an individual, as a creative, you don't need nobody else. You figure out the formula, what puts you in the best light, come up with a strategy plan as far as laying it out, and then you broadcast it out on social media. And so I think like that's the difference. You know, that's the difference. What really makes the difference is understanding and knowing you got your own platform to where you really don't need anybody, but you can use your platform to kickstart your career to what you want it to be and reach the masses of who you want.
No, I totally agree. You know, in Creative Life, we like to talk about self-mastery. And in self-mastery, you know, it's talking about the things that you have done to actually put yourself in position and in retirement. How do you stay disciplined when there's no coaching, nobody telling you, get up, do this, do that? You're an entrepreneur now.
Yep.
And you retired, so you're going into a new career. And as a ball player, you know, it's foreign territory. So you got to kind of learn on the fly, and you got to kind of figure things out because, you know, we don't really take that school thing as serious during that time, especially when you're committed to playing ball. It's tough. It's like, it's tough to commit to both. And for everybody, Takeo Spikes, he went to Auburn University.
Where I got my master's from, my MBA
but he
from.
came to the U.
That's right. And y'all be telling me I can't throw up the U. What's wrong with them?
You can throw, hey.
I got a degree from the U.
Auburn football season is down. University of Miami is back.
That's why I went back to school to get some options.
My man get to come and get to be in the suite with the Hurricanes, throw the U up. You know, so you went back to school. A lot of people don't actually do that. But before you do it, you gotta have some type of discipline to say, look, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So back to what I was saying earlier, like, where did that come from? Or what made you say, man, you know, I done played ball, I done went to college and did that, but now I need to go back to school. And of course, you chose the greatest school in the universe.
Well, thank you, sir. We create the life we want to live.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. You probably always wanted to be a Hurricane. Was that the truth? You always wanted to be a Hurricane? It's just something about us.
I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. Listen, college football is at its best when Miami is relevant.
Somebody telling the truth, man.
I'm
Somebody
always
telling
gonna
the
keep
truth,
it
man.
100.
Somebody telling the truth.
That's probably the reason why y'all got them last 2 wins. At
Somebody
least one
lying.
of them
Somebody
questionable.
lying. Somebody lying. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to
All
the
right, let's get
business
back. Let's
side.
get
We'll
back
get
to
back
the
to
business
football
side.
later because football too easy to talk about.
Yeah.
But to go back to school, after you played ball, and we know it's always thrown in our face whether somebody trying to diss the ball player or somebody pointing out certain things. And we know about the percentages of players that end up in bad situations. But to say, hey, man, I just got through with my football career, I'm going back to school. Like, that's part of self-mastery. That's something that it comes from within because nobody made you.
Right. Nobody made me. And it was two reasons I went back. 3 reasons. Keep me on track because I get off track. Number 1, I left school as a junior. So did I really want to go back? No. My mama was like, boy, you better take your black ass back to school.
That's one of them promises you made, Mom.
Yeah. But still, though, that was one of them promises. Long as mom's is getting her paper, she ain't tripping about school.
Yeah,
She ain't
agree.
tripping.
I agree.
But she was, that was one thing. Number 2, when I retired, bro, like football consumes after 15 years of playing, 3 years in college. And then I started playing ball at Pop Warner like at age 7.
Yeah.
You probably the same way. All of us
Everybody.
in our generation.
It was life.
Yeah, it was life. So for me, I've been playing football and living on a structured level for so long. I was like, man, I'm finna take me some time off and like I'm gonna still work out, but it ain't gonna be first thing in the morning.
Right.
And and once I got kind of acclimated, you get out, you do things, you meet people, and I just kind of felt like something was missing. And with that, I got bored, bro. I got tired of doing the same thing over and over. And so I just found myself in a lot of business opportunities. And I just got tired of just sending a paper over and having somebody to tell me what they think. Right. I'm like, man, I need to be able to look at this and at least know or have a good inclination. All right, this is what this means. This is pretty much the basis of the deal. Now versus me using that financial advisor as somebody to, to validate it for me. I just need you to verify it. And once you verify it, then I was good. Then I would say the last reason is what really pushed me over the hill, bro, was I got some of my partners, Carlos and Tuton. The league came out with this thing like, look, if you go back to school, you can use the NFL tuition reimburse.
So you got to go to school for free.
Yeah, so I got a chance to, get my schooling paid for, undergrad and also my MBA. And so I talked to them about it. And that's when I realized, I was like, man, these Negroes don't got their undergrad already.
So
I
you're
said,
behind.
I'm really behind. So they was talking about getting their MBA, bro. And I was just like, ain't no way in hell I'm about to let them go back to school and 2-up me. 1 up ain't enough. 2 up. So I was like, all right, cool. I went back. I got my undergrad. Soon as I finished my undergrad, I was immediately starting the MBA program.
So with that, I know a lot of guys, and I commend the guys going back to school because that's tough. I got hurt. I tore my ACL. I went and bought me this little low-key car, and I went to school. I tried it for a couple of days. I didn't even make weeks. Hey, that's tough, man. It's like I was sitting in the classroom, and it was like, what am I doing here? I hadn't signed one of the richest deals for a rookie. But I was like, man, I need to go to school. I want to try to finish. You want to do everything the right way.
Yeah.
But what is the right way? My definition of right is who it's pertaining to.
Yeah.
And I was like,
pertaining to.
that right ain't for me. You know, man, I'm outside. I learn from being out on the turf. You know, in the classroom, it's cool. You learn the terminology, but I go back to my street sense, my natural common sense, and I've been able to maneuver doing it that way. In saying that, for you going back to school, what were the benefits of going back to school now that you've already been in the real world, and in life and experience is the best teacher.
Yep.
You've already been there, done that, besides the piece of paper. And this is not to knock anybody that's thinking about going back to school, but there's a difference, and it all depends on the person.
Yep.
For me personally, I read books. I'm self-taught. I like to try to study. I like to try to figure things out. And I'm going to bump my head 1,000 times trying to figure something out. And I just couldn't go sit in that classroom and somebody tell me, hey, have this paper by tomorrow. Have this by this. And I understand the value of time. And plus, I'm already making money. And so for me, it's like, man, if I fuck up my money, I need to be punished. I need to be punished because, you know, I was given an opportunity. And my grandma always said, and I always have this quote, keep on giving, you're gonna give your blessings away. So I always held everything tight and been a realist about everything. The things I'm into, I value, I'll spend money on. If I don't value it, you know, they're gonna say, oh, you're cheap, or you're not. If you see me not paying for something, I don't value it. And for me, school wasn't the thing. And I see a lot of guys went back to school, and I commend them. But for you personally, one of the guys that actually did it, like, what were the benefits? Being that you was in your 30s.
Yep.
You was in your 30s, now you tiptoeing on, you're in the second quarter of life.
Oh yeah, I'm dead into it. Actually, it was in
So what was the true benefits of going back to school?
True benefits. I think the biggest one is just one of the biggest ones was just understanding the lingo and understanding business terms. I can understand, I mean, you put down a balance sheet, any type of spreadsheet. Yeah, I can understand that. But for me, I thought, what can separate me? You know, what can separate me from the average person? And so for me, I was like, versus me just understanding what's on this sheet, let me go to school and learn how to put this sheet together. Now, could I have done that without going back to school? Of course. But the other benefits, to your point, is being part of a marvelous university, as do you.
Throw it up.
And you know what I'm saying? Being part of that, and then it's also, I'm open to a whole network of people who I didn't even have access to. And I think that's the biggest thing that I would just say. I'm going to speak in terms of like athletes, even if you're taking undergrad, what we don't have the foresight to be able to see is, you know, in life, whenever you hit it off with somebody, it's all because you got some type of commonality.
Right.
And the one commonality that I've gained like greatly off of, like very beneficial, is because me and somebody who don't grow up in the same hood as I did, or who didn't grow up and see black folk the way that I see black folk, like we still have a commonality from a piece of paper.
All right.
It may be, you may say it don't make any sense at all, but that's just the reality of what it is.
No, I totally agree, because it's like right now with the advancement of AI, artificial intelligence, you know, everybody's smart right now. Everybody can put something in ChatGPT, get the right answer. But the thing you can't get is a relationship with the person.
Yes.
And so the relationships are more valuable than anything. So I totally agree with that, because, you know, even though I went to the University of Miami, I didn't graduate from school, and I probably had never graduated. Let's say, give me an honor. I don't even want the honorary. I want to just be like, okay, look, I went there, but I'm still going to be an example for the people that don't go because I'm in the lab. But no matter where I go around the country, there's people that are in powerful positions and places that went to that school. And that commonality that you was talking about,
Yeah, man.
it brings you together, and it unites people, and it actually like, it kind of breaks the ice, even in the conversation.
It's an icebreaker, bro. I've had it happen so many times, man. Like, I was all the way in California and went to a 49ers game and met a CEO of a company. And he went to the U. So immediately,
I'm telling you, man, see that
was just like, boom.
Hey, we're promoting for the University of Miami right now. We got my boy
You know what I'm
Spikes.
saying?
Notice, you didn't hear Auburn yet.
You haven't, but I'll follow up. But also in Cali, one of our biggest alumni is Tim Cook, Mr. All Everything that runs Apple.
He went to Auburn?
Yeah, he went to Auburn. So
okay, War Eagle.
Okay,
yeah,
we came back, sat down at a couple of games with each other at Auburn. But for me, that's been the biggest thing that I would say the one takeaway that I can push towards athletes is like, look, you're gonna be here anyway, and they definitely do a much better job of it now, ensuring that the kids make sure they stay qualified on the right classes. But if you won't be here for like at least 3 years, man, these folks finna get a lot out of you. And I know NIL deals are in play, but get something out of them. Get that paper,
agree.
man.
Yeah. Build those relationships.
Yeah, build a relationship.
Make the connection because, that little small window can extend your relationship farther or probably change your life because it's all about connections because football is going to end. Everybody knows it's going to end. And when it does, then you're out just in the world, And on Creative Life, we like to talk about community networking. And that's one of the things that we're discussing right now. With you being out in the Tim Cooks, the University of Miami people, and you think about all the things that you're able to accomplish beyond football. When you look back at your football career and you think about the younger you versus the older you, what would have you done different as far as relationships, networking during the new this Takeo? Like, what would you have? What would you do different? Yeah, post retirement. What would you do different now? Because I look back on it like I was pretty committed to edge, keeping it real with my people, and staying in my comfort zone. And now I look back on it, I say, man, I probably could have, been a little more open to outsiders, safe outsiders, not just anybody, but just good people. And I stayed in this box, and I didn't realize that. So when you talk about the networking and building those relationships, like, what would you have done different from then and now?
I would be more open to receiving people in front of me at the time, meaning if we're at a function or whatever, we have a tendency, and I say we, I'm just talking in terms of athletes, if we got something in common and I know that, I'm going to kind of like, I'm going to go over here with you
here.
Versus you look interested. Let me see what you got going on. How you doing? What's up? Yeah. Like who are you? You know what I mean? So I think that's the one thing that I would change because I don't regret it, but that's one thing that I noticed as I became older is just understanding like, as much as what we did on the football field and 100,000 people screaming your name, at the end of the day, we still the same person.
Yeah.
And with that, when you're able to normalize a conversation, when somebody look at you in a different light and just let them know and give them insight, look, man, we the same person. We still an outlier, but we're the same person. Our same work ethics got us right here. I even went as far as talking to a CEO and just tell him like, Like, look, man, like, we got a lot in common. You don't even know that yet. But I'm just letting you know this is what I done, boom, 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 boom. And this is how I see it. You see it the same way. How do I know that? Because I read your book. I took time out of my day because I wanted to know you and start a relationship with you. And did I know exactly what was going to happen out of that? No, but I was just like, it ain't no different than me seeing like you want to holler at somebody, I'm going to shoot my shot.
All right.
I want to create a relationship with this multimillionaire. So I'm going to shoot my shot. I did it. And to this day, we still tight. So, just from that mindset, it's been very beneficial for me.
But see, like, it's like, now you got all the guys, like, everybody gonna play golf. They're like, hey, you golf? I don't play golf, man. It's an early morning sport, man. That ain't my thing.
It really ain't gotta be though, Edge.
But this what I'm saying. But this where when I look at that situation, everybody be like, hey man, you go out there play golf, that's where everybody be at. That's where the movers and shakers. And then I'm a chess player, I think, and I get on the other side and say, don't you think these people are used to people just pushing up or pulling up on them, thinking that, hey, this is the way to get next to me? Like for me, it's like, that's the way I think.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, I'm very organic. I'm pure. I'm real. I'm like, when you talk about creating a life, you talking about doing your thing the way you see it, that's me.
Right.
And it's like, if you see me on a golf course early in the morning, knowing that I'm out all night, it's got to be a catch. It's like, what the fuck am I doing up this early, man? Like,
put that down, my boy, up early now.
I'm up to something. It's not pure. It's not real because I'm gonna be outside every day, all the time. But like, that's my natural clock. And when I see those situations take place, it's like, don't you think the other person look at it like, man, this not real, or this not something that's pure? And I take pride on being pure.
No, dog.
Like,
no, I
man,
don't. I don't see it that way, bro. Because this is, I use you for an example. A prime example. Yeah, they could be with anybody, whoever they want to be with. But they ain't with Edge. They ain't with EJ. They ain't with Edgerrin James. They ain't with the Hall of Famer. And maybe you can go get with another Hall of Famer. But it ain't Edge. Why? Because you real. And
Definitely.
You are who you are. But more importantly, you are who you are. You're able to convey that to whoever in a non-threatening way, to where you make people feel like, man, I'm cool. Maybe his name is the Edge, but maybe I got an edge. And I'm like, and like, that's how they see it.
But for me, it's like, then it's like getting away from your natural, like okay, we're speaking on the golfing situation. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's not my thing. And then the hours aren't my time. And it's like, why would I force myself to be in a situation versus saying, if we're gonna play golf, I don't mind. I can go out there, kick it around your little golf cart and do all that. But it's gonna be in the afternoon. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's when it's more real. They made a sacrifice. I made a sacrifice. And if there's synergy, we make something happen. If not, man, we met a good person. We know each other. We have a good conversation. And I'm gonna go do me. You can go do you. And that's the way I like to keep it. Because too many times, man, you know what it's like, man. When you play ball, you meet somebody, they be like, hey, hit me up, call me, this and that. You make that call, you're going to go to the voicemail, you're going to go somewhere else, right? It's about, what can you do for me? Where can I benefit from you? And that's just the reality of it. And I just try to live in that space. And I see so many times people waste a lot of time, banking on something that's not realistic.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm a shun away from that. I'm gonna save myself the time and the embarrassment to where I'm gonna be going over here. When it's like it's gotta be part of my routine, part of my path, because now I'm not disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't want to be looking at a person and be like, oh man, this here bullshit artist. You know, I want to respect that person for who he is. If he's a great artist, he's a great athlete, he's a great performer, I want to see them the way I see them. I don't want nothing to dim that light.
Yeah.
And so I try not to put myself in those situations.
Bro, like that used to happen to me early in my non-retirement years. Just because it's like, all right, let me just go see. There's that word hope. Let me just hope something good come out of it. But what I quickly learned was, man, my time is valuable. It's even more valuable now since I'm not playing. So for me, it was more so it turned into, man, I'm not finna sit out here and play golf with you if we ain't got nothing in common. I'm telling you straight up, this is what I'm looking to do it. Can you help me do this? How can I add value to what you're doing? And if we both add value, great. I see you 8:10 a.m. tee time.
Why 10?
Depending on what course you play. If they got two courses, one course that I like always starts with even numbers. The other course always plays at odd numbers.
Golf talk. I don't really get into that game. It's AM game.
So you don't play because you don't want to get hooked.
Nah,
because once you get hooked, you're going to get addicted. And then you don't start out early. You'll start out early when you become addicted.
Man, look, when I look at golf, I see a bunch of niggas that hate being home.
Keep it real. Keep it wild.
Hate being home. So they find some reason to get up. Because at the end of the day, man, when I sit back and I see the final results, I don't see all these big time business deals. I don't see the outcome that was pushed in front of me, but I see a bunch of brothers that be like, I'm just getting away from the house.
I played with them before. I played with them. But I tell you this, like, I love my house. Well, that's not applicable for me because I don't have that. I have a significant other, but it ain't like we live together. But for me, man, I think I more so chase the hope. And after just going right to it, can you do this for me? This is the value that I add. I see this value you add. I go right to it. And if I feel like it can, I'll meet you out early. But if I feel like it's just straight fanboy and you want to kick it just to have, you know what? This is what it is. It's the hope of knowing I got EJ and Spikes on the course for 4 hours at a minimum. And if I'm a bad golfer, it's 5.5 hours. I know I can get something out of them.
So not to get in your business and not to rank your game.
Yeah.
But what benefits have you gained personally to say, man, I went out there. Now that might be a little too personal right there because you might have to,
I tell you that.
But like, what true benefits can you say, man? This has you're already somebody. You've already financially positioned yourself. So what true benefits to going out there, playing with these people that you could say, this took my life to another level?
I can't say that.
You might well be outside with me. You might well be outside with me. And you might be just getting out the house too, man. I don't know, man.
No, I can't say that. But what I can say is this. A few people who I have met on the golf course and went out and spent time with them, they've added value to my life from a knowledge perspective of what they do and allowed me to come in and be able to break bread with them. A few. It ain't a lot. So that's you more so chasing that.
that's.
But I
not
love the
for me.
game. But
Yeah,
I
if you
will
love the
say,
game,
I
now
love
that's
the
the
game.
difference.
That's the difference for me.
Yeah, it goes.
And I ain't spending my time out there with some douchebag who just want to be like, let me see your jock so I can. Nah, I ain't doing that.
Yeah,
we ain't don't like no jocks in there.
That's where the disconnect comes with myself because I'm not going out there just to go, and sometimes you always get offered, hey, come to this charity golf thing, and you hate to be rude, but I'm like, I don't golf, and I don't really play golf because I'm not interested, and maybe if I was good or if I was interested in it, then I'd probably be like, okay, yeah, I can be out there because it serves another purpose, but I don't want to be out there like I'm putting on for something, and that's why I kind of stay away.
I feel you. I don't, because my belief is this. Like, yeah, the more commonalities that you have, it may, you may strike a chance to hit something together. But if you don't, you don't. You can't miss nothing you ain't never had.
And that's why I say you gotta already enjoy. I'd rather do something I enjoy doing versus just doing it. But we got my man Takeo Spikes. Hey Takeo, you've been doing charity for a long time. And I've done charity. I've done too much charity. Sometimes you get caught up in it, but man, you love them kids so much, man, that it just carries over and it kind of takes you away from real life.
Yeah.
And in your position, in my position, you start doing this charitable work and it never ends, and you jump into a space that never ends because they always need. I don't care how good you did last year. It's like, what have you done for me lately?
That's it.
And I see you still consistent. You're still doing your camp. You still doing. I commend you. Once again, I commend you. Because for me, it's like it started taking a toll on myself personally because it's like I'm doing these things and then I see these kids, after you put them in position, as an athlete, you can see somebody that has the potential.
Yep.
I see the potential in this kid. But then somebody comes that's a better recruiter and takes this kid out of my web when I have nothing to gain, and they just destroy the kid. But it kind of, for me, it's like you start getting like, what am I doing this for? Because I'm here to help. I'm here to try to advance these kids and try to help these kids because it's so relatable. And for me, I had to really like kind of back up a little bit. I'm like, I'd rather come to your camp than host my own camp.
Gotcha.
And so I had to kind of change my strategy because giving is automatic. It's instilled in us. And for you to keep it going, like what keeps you going when it comes to doing those camps, knowing that, man, these kids are gonna go to who give them the lollipop. I couldn't take it.
Yeah, man, I paused because I feel you. Charitable work is hard, and it's probably one of the most, I hope I'm saying this right, thankless jobs that you ever can have because you're serving so many people, and you question at the end of the day when you're done, did they know I take time out of my day to stop doing from what I'm doing to really help you? You question that. So, even going to my camp, as you mentioned, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of logistical work. But for me, what really keeps me going is the hope, the same hope, the glimmer that you see from a kid that pops in your eye. Like you see the possibility of that kid being somebody special, right, and you want to foster that. So, man, that's what I do. I do it, and it's been plenty of times I walked away, and I'm just being honest. I'm like, man, I'm not doing this, man. Like I wonder, do these kids really realize the impact? I get over that quickly though, but the one that really burns me up is families or the parent who is the custodial of the kid. And when they bring them out there, it's almost like they dropping the kid off. Just it's another form of daycare, and they really don't appreciate it, or even having people in positions, whether or not if you are the superintendent or whoever it may be, people in position to help you throw that camp, they take it for granted that I'm bringing a Edgerrin James to Sandersville, Georgia. They take it for granted I'm bringing a Champ Bailey, Jamal Lewis, Carlos Simmons, Tutan Reyes, Willie Anderson. Like at least 4 of the guys are Hall of Famers.
Right.
So you got Hall of Famers coming to your town, a Deion Grant, who just that to me, when I look at him, he lives for that. And what pisses me off is when you feel like what you're doing, your work is in vain because you don't appreciate what I'm doing. One, is it because that is free and I'm creating an opportunity for you to live and enjoy yourself? Or number two, because it don't have a price tag on it, I really don't value it.
Wow. You know, I had a partner that always told me, he say, culturally, when we see things as free, we don't value it. But if you put a price tag on it, we paid our money, we're gonna give it more attention, we're gonna be more into it than if it was free. And I've always done things for free. You know, it's like a lot of times people say, "Oh, you won't spend money on this." No, I'm not going to spend money on material things or an experience. Well, now I'll probably spend some money on the experience, but a common experience like a night going nightlife, this and that, or whatever. But I've always had everything for free. I never asked anybody for one donation. You know, I've had camps for years. I've had 8 weeks in the summer I have 100, 200 kids every day for 8 weeks, and it turned into a babysitting service, but I did all that stuff for free. And my partner, he passed, but he always said, our culture don't value things that are for free because we don't want to be looked at as hand-me-downs, or we don't want to look at that as lower class. We're fighting to show that we belong in the upper echelon. And every time I think back on that, it rings true because the things that were free, and you're talking about me doing charity, I got Hall of Famers like yourself. I got Hall of Famers coming to my spot. I got everybody out there giving real pro NFL teaching. And sometimes I have to blame us because other people, they know how to take a professional athlete, put the program together, lay it out right, and they're going to put $1,000 to show up or this and that to show up where they're able to benefit on it. And we do better. We have more value. We have more guys that have done more because naturally the brotherhood is stronger than people realize.
Yep.
And they're there. You know, I've had basketball games. I've had football camps where I had some of the biggest names. You're talking about 2, 3, 4, 5 Hall of Famers there at one time. And in the hall, there's only 300 and something people.
Only 300.
But I got 3, 4, 5 guys at my space for free, and it's not valued. And so I always go back to what my partner used to say. And it holds true. And those are things that kind of, it's like, I'm not going to never give up on the younger generation. I'm going to continue to do that. You know, I'm going to continue to do it because I think it's a natural obligation to make sure that we reach back. But I'm not going to go into it with the expectations that I did. You know, you have to lower your expectations. That's how I do with people. I'll be like, let me just lower my expectations because, you know, when you do things at a high level, you try to be even kill. You try not to look at yourself as like, I'm here, they're there. I try to look at everything as we're all right here.
Right.
But I've learned to lower my expectations and take life for what it is. And this is the direction that we're going. And then I just make the proper adjustments. So when it comes back to the charitable work, that's what I've done. You know, I say, man, you know what? Instead of me having these 200 kids, I got to take to the movies every Wednesday. I got to feed every day. I got to sit down here, commit I didn't miss one day for years. I was always there, you know. And
For that 4-month camp?
no, 8 weeks in the summer. So I timed it up.
2 months.
I started Father's Day. Every day Father's Day was a day that everybody meet up. From then on, all the way through August, because that's when youth football starts in August in Florida.
Yep.
So I would have 8 weeks. Train the kids. I'm there every day. But for me, financially, you know, everybody look at you like, okay, yeah, you make all this money, you have all this money. But as a ball player, residual income is the heartbeat of you, the person, your situation.
What?
So I'm taking an L because I'm so committed to this obligation that I've taken on. And then you don't get the proper appreciation. And then you start seeing these kids, because I have kids that have been made to the NFL, and I'm really, really proud of that. I have guys that have made it to the NFL that have attended my camp, that have been there, and you're giving them real training. You're giving them real pro training. You're skipping all the everything. And it's for free. It goes back to what my partner was saying. And so I did that, but then I had to start. I went from 8 weeks, then I went to 6 weeks. And then I went to where, hey, I tell my cousin, look, you got the facility, you got everything. I'll pop in every now and then.
Right.
Because it slowed down my business for myself. Like,
Personally.
I got to be outside. I got to be hustling. I got to be making moves, because it goes back to residual income keeps you going. I don't care how much money you have made. And on the podcast, we like to talk about financial freedom.
Yeah.
And when you talk about financial freedom, residual income is the thing that every player has to encounter, because those checks stop coming and the real hustler got to come out of you.
Yeah.
And as a ball player, you know, when you play ball, it's easy to say, okay, yeah, I go play, I do this, I get this. But when ball is over, you gave everything to ball. Mm-hmm. Now we get to see who the man is.
Yeah,
you know?
because you're behind.
And that's what we're always behind.
We're always, and it don't mean you're dumb.
No,
it don't mean you can't learn. That means you just. Oh, I get passionate about this, bro.
And so, leading into financial freedom, which this is one of my favorite topics, besides lifestyle leisure, because I love to just hang out all the time and have fun. But financial freedom, that's one of the things that I think not just ball players, anybody that's came into financial success at an early age, they run into this situation. And that's why the numbers are lopsided when you look at them. For you personally, how did you manage, or how did you handle the transition from getting those checks every week to saying, hey, Takeo, you played 15 years, you can wait till you get, 45 and 55, and you're gonna get this little.
Yeah.
Wait till you get
pension.
older. Yeah, wait till you don't need it, because right now these the part. I need mine during the party years. When I get 65, I don't even need it. And they want to give you money on the years you don't need it. I want it when I can be outside enjoying this thing. So, how did you make the transition from getting those checks weekly to, okay, now I got to create the checks?
That's for me. That kind of goes back to like when I was done. I just got tired of doing the same thing over and over again. I got bored, you know, and And so I was trying to find that residual check,
Yeah.
what you talking about. But when you find that residual check, that's when you quickly realize how special you are as an individual as far as what you did throughout your time of the NFL. Man, when you could pick up a check and that motherfucker 6 figures a week for 17 weeks, you doing something pretty damn good.
That's a real money right there.
And so, like, you know, for me, man, it really was like just understanding that. Hold on. What was the question again? I get lost.
Don't worry, I'll bring you back.
Yeah, bring your boy back.
That might be, I know what it is. You trying to work on that little CTE check they give you kicking out over there. I said, hey, Takeo Spikes, he can't remember anything anymore, so y'all need to make sure he automatically qualified.
They gonna be looking. Oh, he on TV, so we ain't gonna give him the check.
No, we're gonna get you the check. Now, that's one thing I do question with the NFL. You know, they make it so hard to actually receive the benefits, and they need somebody to step up and make it to where, man, if you play in this league for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years, they don't even need to question anything because the human body is not made to do this, take all that trauma.
At all, bro.
And some of us are able to mask it, but we could have been better physically if we didn't have to go through all these things. But it's the decision you made. So that's where I look at it, like, they ain't gonna worry about me complaining because I'm gonna get out and create the life I want to live regardless. But at the same time, you have to look at it as, man, this thing is real. All that stuff that goes on. So what I was talking to you about was the transition.
Yeah.
And so when you made the transition from playing ball to what you're doing now, I know you have the Behind the Mask podcast and you're working in networks.
Yep.
But for you, how hard was that, or was it even hard saying, look, man, hey, I gotta get off the couch, or I need something to start happening?
Yeah, I will say I've been fortunate. I've always wanted those checks that we got when we were playing. But it just, for me now, it just didn't come. I had some good checks come through, but they ain't like the ones we used to have when we played.
All right.
So for me, the transition was about, you know, I'll take you through it. My first couple of years, I just really wanted to kind of decompress and become normalized. And to even paint that picture, like I never knew what it felt like to be around your family around Thanksgiving and Christmas.
All right. Always playing ball.
Always playing ball. So for me, and that's from grade school, I wouldn't even say grade school, from college all the way up. So I played 15 years, 3 years in the pro. So for like 18, 19, well, college, yeah, really 19 years, I was separated from that. So I took time off. I wanted to see how that felt. And I was like, oh, this is what y'all do.
Yeah.
Around Thanksgiving, y'all just sit around and, you know.
It's actually pretty cool though, right?
Yeah. And I was like, this is what y'all do. But I walked away and I was like, man, this is pretty damn awesome. Yeah. And so for me, it was like, how can I continue to create that without having to spend all of my time trying to create that same relaxed feeling? And so, you know, that's what led to me going back to school. I said, let me get in a bigger network versus depending on what I know. Let me become uncomfortable so I can start all over being comfortable again. All and, that, you know, that was part of the reason why I went back. And from doing that, making that transition like that, bro, like that really helped me out a lot. It helped me out because, you know, oftentimes I feel like I perform when I don't have a roadmap. I know what my morals are and I know what I need to do. Like my principal key things every day, the ethos of me that makes me get up and grind. But I really don't know where this is going to go, but I'm going to put all my might into it. And that's what took up a lot of my time in the transitioning over from being retired. The cool thing that I learned over the time, I just think about it. So when I retired 15 years, I was like, all right, kicked it for a couple of years, went places I never been, did things I never done. Went down to, I think about Australia, eating kangaroo. I just wanted to try it.
Yeah,
You know,
you got a chance to
like
travel.
wow, man, shit,
Create a life.
doing
Lifestyle
like that,
leisure.
bro. But then I wanted to come up with this concept of behind the mask. You know, I was like, I'm a storyteller, so I wanted to tell stories of like what we have in common, even though we may not grew up the same, but there's some commonality there that we both can respect, regardless of race, creed, you know what I mean, like ethnicity, whatever. So that's how I came up with Behind the Mask. I wanted to share stories of how people became great or how you became an outlier amongst so many other distractions. And so I went around for 2 years, bro, and interviewed some of the greatest linebackers that ever played the game. And I got them sharing their story of how did they become great, what made them an outlier. And I put that in between 2 hardback books, 2 hardback covers, bunch of pages. My photography also wrote it, co-wrote it. And bro, and that was a hit for me. So part of the transitioning for me was really learning about myself. One of the things I remember I heard you say was, God, you said that you were like, you would love to try to figure out the problem. If it was problem solving, I'm paraphrasing, you was gonna figure out a way by getting in a book and reading it until you figure it out. You know, that's how I was. I was like, let me create something and let me do something to shed light on why so many people who really want it, why they wake up in the morning chasing greatness. And that's what I felt like I did. So that was all part of my transition.
No, that's great, man. When you talk about the transition, I don't think people really understand, after doing something all your life, it's pretty much all you know.
Yeah.
And then you're in this foreign territory and you got to figure things out and you got to make a decision because the football is life. And when we talk about that game, everything that it brings, it's more to it than you can probably explain. And when you're trying to explain to somebody, they may get lost in the stories, but it really boils down to, man, like, I love this game or this is all I know. Mm-hmm. And everything outside of it is what I pick up. I pick up bits and pieces. And for yourself, when you talk about the transition, you talk about, man, I was able to be back at Thanksgiving and be back at home. It's like myself personally, man, I sit back and I be like, man, I go to tailgates, man. I never tailgated in my life until I retired. And now I started looking at it from a fan's perspective. And I love the fan's perspective. I just like being the fan that don't give a fuck who wins. Because once you decide or you pick a side, you put yourself in position for a joyous night or the whole night is miserable.
Just miserable.
But man, I don't care who wins. I just came to have a good time. I'm always gonna pull for my Colts. I'm gonna pull for my children. I'm gonna pull for friends. But I look at it for what it is.
Yeah.
I go to a tailgate, man, I realize these people really living life and having fun. And they're enjoying life.
Isn't that the best part about like retirement, when you get a chance to see what happens outside of the stadium, bro?
No, my younger self, I wish I would have knew. I wish I would have knew how much how passionate these people are about what you do. I probably would have went harder.
You're right.
I ain't gonna say I went hard as I could, but that would have been more because
me knowing you probably would have flipped it into a business move, knowing how passionate the fans are. Let me see how I
Man.
can make this benefit me with a little one-on-one.
Man, when you start seeing, like, though, I have so much fun. Like, I go on HBCU tours. I didn't get a true college experience. You know, I went into college. I was 17 years old.
Same.
I was drafted at 20 years old. I wasn't old enough to go in the clubs. Plus, Miami, we're gonna get in the club. But, you know, legally, you know, these things right here they wasn't things that you could actually just do freely do. And you go to college and life just starts speeding up and now you become the head of the family. It's like, I didn't ask to be the head of the family. I wanted to be the same little kid that's always been there. And so you get put in these situations that are forced. And so you miss out on so many things. And now you just like, you know, they say you live life forward, but you understand it backwards. So for me, now I'm playing it back and I'm getting a chance to go to all these games. I love to go to the HBCU games. You know, it's not about the game. It's about the people, about the culture, about all the people that have actually walked that walk and have been along that journey. So I get a chance to experience those things. And within those experiences, I sit back and I was like, man, if I was just knew all these things, I don't know what it would have done to me, but it would have made a better me because you're not aware of it. You know, when you're playing ball, you're not aware of it.
No, man.
You know, you pulling up in that bus and
you have no idea. You're
some
living
people
in the vacuum.
they start tailgating the night before.
Yeah.
And you start looking like, man, these people really are into it.
Let me tell you when it hit home for me. I was in Buffalo, went to the grocery store. Dude came up to me. He was like, listen, Takeo, I don't care what it may take. Y'all got to win this week. I was like, yeah, that's what we plan on doing. We plan on doing it every week. He was like, no, you don't understand. My light bill depends on it. And I ain't spending that money on no light bill. I'd rather much see how y'all win the game, and I'll find a way to get heat and stay warm. Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. And it was December.
That's serious. Buffalo.
In Buffalo. I said, man, they die hard. Shout out to Bill's Mafia.
Nah, Buffalo's serious, man.
Yeah.
And we had to spend the year 2000, the coming into year 2000 or something like that. I remember they was talking about this thing, the new millennia,
Y2K.
Y2K.
Yeah.
So we had to go to Buffalo. It was boring as hell, but we had to go to Buffalo early.
Because you didn't go to cross the bridge over there.
Nah, because I went there to play football. I didn't go to Buffalo to hang out.
Yeah, I'm saying you just go across the bridge and see
I
Niagara
ain't
Falls.
come to party. I came.
Niagara Falls, you're a tourist.
We won the game. I came to Buffalo to play football. I don't go to Buffalo. If I'm going to go to New York, I'm going to New York City. I'm not going to Buffalo. But, man, we had to go to Buffalo for the Y2K. And I was like, man, how do y'all survive being in Buffalo? The snow is up to here.
Oh, no, it probably higher.
The snow is serious, and it's like, I don't know what else there is to do. So we got my boy Takeo Spikes, man. University of Miami. You know, we let him in.
Well, we can't let him in, man. Why you got to go with the U first? That was second.
Everything starts with the U. You know, we're the only school that you can just throw it up. Everybody know what we talking about. And right now we popping. We back.
We all popping.
We popping, man.
We popping. What the hell
we popping. You with us, man.
Damn right I am.
Man, I appreciate you coming on the Create Life podcast. I know you have behind the Mask podcast. You know I went on that season 4. I was rocking that thing.
My boy started season 4 out forward.
Started season 4 out, man. Go check
it
out, man. We was there, him and my boy Two-Ton. What Two-Ton? Where's Two-Ton? Two-Ton.
Carmen San Diego, boy.
Oh, he left us, man. He left the A, man. There was too much pressure on it. The heat got too much for him, man. But on the Creative Life podcast, man, we like to always have these little quick hitters, man. So these quick hitters for you, like we're talking about through your experiences, which one was more impactful? Which one do you think is the better day? Draft day or opening day?
Draft day.
Why draft day, first of all?
Draft day because it was somewhere new. I'm from here in Georgia, but I got drafted. I went out to Oakland. I trained in Oakland, San Francisco area, Bay Area. So I had my draft day party at Planet Hollywood back in the day when that was a thing. And man, I made so many, associates, friends, whatever you want to call them. And dog, that was, man, like think about it, bro. Like I was 17, 15, no, 17, 20. I was 20 years old and I'm out in San Francisco and I got a restaurant full of people, all the people from Oakland who I trained in Oakland, but
Bay Area.
yeah, man, like, bro, like, I was popping, bro. Like, I had met Too Short and everything.
Too Short the whole
Shout out.
Hey,
I'm telling you, man.
I'm the king of the O.
That's why I was better. No question. Like,
Okay.
opening day is good, too, but like, ain't that like draft day because I got the bag and I'm finna change the trajectory of my family's life.
I agree, man. Draft day, that's when it hits you. Like all that work really paid off, but everybody get to sit and you're the focal point. So now, football wise, now that we have football like every day, today, tomorrow, the next day, which day is the best day? Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. As a player and then as a fan.
As a player, I would say, oh my God. As a player, I probably would say Sunday. Like Sunday was, because in high school and college, that's what I always wanted to be, a Sunday player. Always. Now, going back now that I'm retired, I really look forward to Saturdays, bro. And I look forward to Saturdays because I cover college football. Y'all make sure y'all check me out.
Oh yeah, Takeo Spikes, he's actually working every Saturday.
I'm working
for the SEC
every Saturday. Now we left the SEC.
I thought the SEC network that was last year.
Yeah, last year.
So now where you at?
I'm with TNT. They came over since they're losing inside the NBA. They made the commitment to open up college football. So myself, Champ Bailey, Victor Cruz, Adam Lefkoe is the host. So we on every Saturday on True TV, which is TNT, subsidiary of TNT. So yeah, we show Mountain West games, but we talk about all of college football.
My man Takeo Spikes, he gonna be give me a gig, man. Give me a gig. But it gotta be exclusive to the University of Miami. That's the only way.
We should create our own show about the U. Like,
man, you don't have to create the U is a show. The U is a show. It's like it's its own show. Like you don't have to go create that.
But ain't nobody showing it.
Don't worry. The whole world getting on. You see them boys, they doing don't worry. Trendsetters.
Cam really should have been in Auburn, though.
Why?
Just had to pony up. Y'all just kind of stepped up to the table.
Man, one thing about
gave
the
him one of
city
them
of
good
Miami,
old
one thing
Edgerrin
about the
James
city of Miami is going to
handshakes.
do what it takes. Listen.
Clearly, y'all will do whatever it takes.
If you haven't been paying attention to sports, right? The city of Miami is going to have a championship in some sport every so many years. The Marlins, the Heat. I don't know about the Dolphins.
We still waiting on the Dolphins. I
don't have to worry about it. Disregard the Dolphins. University of Miami is their time right now. And, okay, let's go back to college football. Since you watch college football, we all love Deion Sanders. He's our favorite uncle.
Yep.
Everybody's favorite uncle, especially if you come from the culture. So, Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders? Who do you pick first?
Who do I pick? Oh man, that's a tough one. If I'm starting an NFL team,
NFL team. You draft day. Takeo Spikes is the GM. He calling all the shots. He has the first pick of the NFL draft. Who do you pick?
I'm a big Cam Ward fan. Huge. And I champion for him every week. I'm going to go with Shador. The play is like, it's a toss-up. You can't, like it is what it is out of both. But I'm going with the pedigree because you know the significance of what it means to be the face of the team. And immediately, if you have any success, you're going to be face of the franchise, of course, but you're going to be one of the faces of the league when it comes to marketing. So I'm going to entrust and know because of the pedigree you come from, you're going to know how to handle that and not be foreign to success in that nature. So you're going to make sure you benefit off of it in a proper way to where you're not embarrassing the organization. And that's me as a GM.
Okay, General Manager Takeo Spikes. Great answer. You know, it could go
Thanks,
either
Coach.
way. I'm University of Miami biased, but Coach Prime that's the man to all of us.
Yeah.
So you couldn't go wrong with that answer, no matter which way you went. But now, moving forward, let's go to your Super Bowl. Oh, let's go to the playoffs. Who's going to be in the NFC championships, and who's going to be in the AFC championship this year? Let's test your IQ. We're gonna review this. We're gonna put this up later. We're gonna put this up in January. Where it's January when it comes out.
Yeah.
So remember, your reputation is on the line, brother.
Here it is, October 2024. My AFC team that will be in the Super Bowl.
No, not Super Bowl. I'm gonna put that much pressure.
The championship.
Yeah, the AFC championship and the NFC championship.
Oh, AFC championship. That's pretty good. I got to name both teams.
Yeah.
All right, so both teams is going to be Baltimore
Ravens.
And I'm going to just tell you this, man. Baltimore and Kansas City. I want to say Buffalo. I just think
everybody in
depth
Buffalo don't look down on him. He played for him, but he just.
No, I'm just saying depth wise. I don't know if they'll be able to do it throughout. It's a 17 game season.
They just acquired Amari Cooper.
They did. They just got Amari Cooper. But so, I just
think... we got Baltimore. So we got Baltimore versus Kansas City. That was a game that was played last year.
Last year it was the semifinals.
Okay, so this year that's the championship.
That's the
now
championship.
Who do you have in the NFC?
NFC. I'm a big, you know my heart is with the 49ers. I covered the land great. I would say NFC. I mean, how fitting is this? I'm going to put it out there, bro, but you got to go with them dirty birds.
Atlanta
is my...
Atlanta versus who?
All right. I didn't want to seem biased, but I really feel like the 49ers are going to come around.
You think so?
Yeah. Because I like the 49ers. That's it. I like the 49ers.
I'm thinking Detroit and the NFC. So we'll see. But we got my boy Takeo Spikes, man. I appreciate you coming on Creative Life Podcast. There's more work to be done.
More work to be done, my boy.
We'll keep going.
Absolutely.
I got my boy on, man. You got to check him out, Beyond the Mask Podcast. And plus, he's on this, what network you on?
Y'all make sure y'all check me out. True TV every Saturday. Right? Myself, Victor Cruz, Champ Bailey. We covering football, college football.
College football.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to college football.
Yep.
University of Miami and I know we're gonna make the playoffs. That's an automatic.
Yeah. We're
gonna make the playoffs.
Question.
But right now I'm looking at Texas versus University of Miami. That's me.
I can't throw up to you on this one, Edge.
You don't have to.
I can't. But what
That's
I will
how
say,
you know he's not a true hurricane. He's a halfway hurricane.
nuh-uh. I didn't halfway give y'all my money, and y'all didn't halfway give me that degree.
Hey, we got a halfway hurricane right here. You got to be
No,
all
we
in.
don't.
That's the difference between anybody that go to you. Everything is the you, especially when we got a chance. You know we got a chance.
Oh no, listen.
Every championship team has had those games that was controversial. They could have went this way or that way. We got ours out the way. Now we build on it.
Okay. So in my championship game, I got Georgia against Oregon.
Georgia versus Oregon.
Cause this was on.
Did you not watch Texas? Do you not see Texas?
Texas, the best pass defense Texas has ever played this year was Mississippi State, and they were the 72nd ranked pass defense. That was the highest ranking pass secondary, 72nd.
Can't help because you can't help who's on the schedule.
But what they need to help is when Georgia come
Texas
in this week.
Did Texas have a close game yet?
They ain't played nobody. They played a couple people. And I like Texas. But I just thing with Texas.
So to reiterate,
all right.
What was Oregon versus Georgia? Championship game.
Right, I really want to put Texas in there.
There you have it. I got Texas versus University of Miami.
I got Oregon and Georgia.
Oregon versus Georgia. And we'll go from there. We appreciate Takeo Spikes coming on the Creative Life podcast. You know, we're here to motivate, inspire, uplift anybody and everybody.
That's what we do.
That wants to. And we'll take it from there. All right, my boy.
All right, my boy.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.